On this gripping episode of Sasquatch Theory, Miguel sits down with Kay from Missouri, a witness whose life story is deeply intertwined with encounters that defy conventional explanation. Kay's experiences stretch across decades and multiple states, forming a narrative that is as much about survival and resilience as it is about Sasquatch, strange phenomena, and humanity's fragile relationship with the unknown. Kay begins by reflecting on her childhood in the swamps of Michigan, a place both haunting and beautiful. Growing up in a troubled home, the wilderness became her refuge. The dense wetlands, towering trees, and endless sounds of nature offered her an escape from fear and instability. Yet, those same woods would also become the setting for her earliest encounters with something she could not explain. As a young girl, she often felt watched while wandering alone. At night, she would see glowing eyes staring back at her from the darkness, too high, too steady, and too intelligent to belong to any known animal. These moments filled her with terror, but also an unspoken sense that she was not alone in those swamps. Over time, Kay's encounters intensified. She recalls hearing heavy footsteps moving through the brush, far louder than any deer or bear she had ever known. There were moments when the forest would suddenly fall silent, as if everything living had paused at once. On more than one occasion, she witnessed strange orbs of light drifting through the trees, glowing softly and moving with purpose. These lights seemed aware of her presence, sometimes hovering briefly before disappearing without a sound. Though frightened, Kay sensed that these experiences were not meant to harm her, an intuition that would stay with her throughout her life. As Kay grew older, she carried these memories with her, unsure how to interpret them. Like many witnesses, she learned quickly that sharing such stories often led to ridicule or disbelief. Still, the unexplained followed her. Years later, after moving to North Carolina and spending time in the Blue Ridge Mountains, the activity returned. The mountains felt ancient to her, steeped in something old and powerful. There, she began hearing wood knocks echoing through the forest, distinct, rhythmic sounds that responded when she knocked back. At night, blood-curdling screams rang out across the ridges, sounds unlike any known animal. The screams were so intense and emotionally charged that they left her shaken, resonating deep in her chest. Kay describes one chilling night when something large moved just beyond her line of sight, snapping branches and pacing the perimeter of her camp. She could sense intelligence behind the movement, not random animal behavior. Fear gripped her, but once again, she was not attacked. Instead, the presence eventually retreated, leaving behind a profound sense of awe and confusion. These encounters forced Kay to confront the possibility that Sasquatch, or something very much like it, was real and aware. Her journey eventually led her to the Ozarks of Missouri, where her experiences took on yet another dimension. The Ozarks, known for their rugged terrain and deep folklore, seemed alive in a way that felt familiar to Kay. Here, she encountered what she describes as strange animal behavior, including unusually large coyotes moving in coordinated packs. Some of these animals looked wrong to her, bigger, darker, and more upright in posture than any coyote should be. Their eyes reflected light in an unsettling way, and their movements suggested something more than instinct. In Missouri, the wood knocks and heavy movements continued, often accompanied by a feeling of being observed. Kay speaks about moments when something would throw rocks or small objects near her, not directly at her, but close enough to make its presence known. Over time, fear gave way to curiosity. Drawing from stories she had heard from other witnesses, Kay decided to try gifting. She began leaving small offerings, food, trinkets, and objects of personal meaning, at the edge of the woods. What happened next only deepened the mystery. After gifting, Kay noticed increased activity. Items she left would sometimes disappear, and in their place, she would find strange arrangements of sticks or rocks. On one occasion, she found an object she did not recognize, placed deliberately where her gift had been. Rather than feeling threatened, Kay felt acknowledged. It was as though a line of communication had been quietly opened, one built on respect rather than fear. Throughout the interview, Miguel allows Kay the space to share not just what she saw and heard, but how these experiences shaped her emotionally. Kay speaks candidly about the loneliness of being a witness, about carrying these memories while navigating a world that often dismisses them outright. Yet, she also speaks of strength. The same wilderness that once sheltered her from a painful childhood became a teacher, showing her that reality is far broader and stranger than most people are willing to admit. This episode of Sasquatch Theory is powerful because it goes beyond a simple encounter story. It explores how trauma, intuition, and the unexplained can intertwine, shaping a person's worldview. Kay's story is not about chasing monsters, It is about connection, between humans and nature, between fear and understanding, and between the known and the unknown. Whether listeners believe in Sasquatch or not, Kay's experiences challenge us to question what we think we know about the world around us and to listen more closely to the voices of those who have walked the edges of mystery. In the end, Kay's journey is ongoing. She does not claim to have all the answers, only the certainty of her experiences. Through decades of encounters across Michigan, North Carolina, and Missouri, one truth remains constant. Something is out there, something intelligent, elusive, and deeply connected to the wild places we barely understand. This episode leaves listeners with a lingering sense of wonder and an invitation to reconsider the boundaries of reality itself.